have too much jet lag?
No, I did pretty good. I came here and stayed awake as long as I could. I was delirious by about 7 p.m. and I was riding the subway and people thought I was a little bit crazy, but that's okay.
Non, ça va, elle ressent pas trop le décalage horaire. Après, ouais, prendre le métro à 19h, c'est un peu compliqué, mais non, ça va. Are you ready to answer the questions?
I'm so ready to answer your questions. Give it to me.
C'est parti.
Hi again.
Hello, bonjour.
So my question for you is, what was your favorite story arc throughout the series, Smallville? And would you have liked Lois to know sooner about Clark's secret, or are you happy the way it just happened? Thank you.
Thank you, very good. My favorite story arc happened in season 8. And it was because Lois was just starting to become what we know her to be. And so that allowed me to play with that idea and how she decides to become a journalist and how she finds her feet. And it allowed for a little more banter also between her and Clark, and I think it gave her a level where she could go toe-to-toe with him a little more.
L'évolution, son arc préféré par rapport à l'évolution de Lois, c'est dans la saison 8 où elle découvre un peu plus, on voit un peu plus ce qu'elle va devenir et qui elle va être, comment elle arrive, comment elle rentre dans le journalisme, etc. Et comment sa relation avec Clark évolue, où ils sont plus proches.
I don't know if you remember the episode where they were, gosh, it happens in every episode where they were held hostage in season 8 and she had to admit she loved him.
Yeah.
What was it called?
Est-ce que vous avez le nom de l'épisode?
Everybody
Maybe. Un épisode où ils sont pris en otage. Là, il dit, en même temps, ça arrive dans tous les épisodes, mais ils sont pris en otage et elle est obligée d'admettre qu'elle est amoureuse de Clark. Est-ce que vous vous rappelez du nom de l'épisode?
It's okay. It was situations like that I enjoyed playing, and I'm glad she didn't find out earlier. There's only so many times I can have amnesia or forget about things or be possessed or what have you, so I think they did it really well.
Et c'est surtout ces scènes-là qu'elle aimait vraiment, beaucoup jouer, et que c'est bien que ce soit arrivé tard, avec le nombre de fois où elle a l'amnésie, où elle est possédée par quelque chose ou quoi. Donc ça a été bien amené.
Thank you so much. Love you.
Thank you.
N'hésitez pas à retrouver le nom de l'épisode.
On l'a ici, Committed. On l'a trouvé.
La trouvé, c'est quoi?
Committed.
Committed.
Yeah.
Merci.
Merci.
Hello, Rika. I'm so happy to see you. My question is, what scene in Smallville, when you played Lois Lane, impact you the most or liked you the most?
Which scene impacted you the most?
Or your preferred scene?
Oh gosh. Sorry. I liked the first episode of season 9 during the apocalypse. That one was quite cool because we were heading into a much more connected relationship between Lois and Clark. So I liked that one specifically. For myself, I still remember vividly the first episode I came to the show in, and I would say generally what I liked the most was how honest and human she was. So anytime I was able to play that point, to not be perfect, I really liked.
Je dirais que sa scène préférée, c'est dans l'épisode 1 de la saison 9, au moment de l'apocalypse, par rapport à le lien qui se crée plus profond entre Lois et Clark. Et sinon, si on prend en général, Alors évidemment, le tout premier épisode dans lequel elle est arrivée dans la série, forcément c'est un moment qui marque, mais sinon sur la partie générale, c'est les moments où, parce qu'en fait Loïs est vraiment quelqu'un d'humain et de honnête, et tous les moments où elle peut jouer, c'est moments aussi un peu d'imperfection et c'est ça, elle a adoré de jouer ces moments d'imperfection et dans l'honnêteté qu'elle est, dans l'humanité qu'elle a.
Yes, and this is the beauty of their character. Your character.
Thank you.
I love you. Bye. Bye.
Hi, Erika.
Hello.
How did you feel to play your character again for the crossover and your feeling with Tom?
Okay. I was very excited to play the crossover. I did not hesitate. Tom spent a lot of time pretending to hesitate, I'm sure, and hedging and waiting. But it was so much fun, and I felt that they had such a limited amount of time with our characters, but they didn't change them so much. You know, I still was able to tease him and have a sense of identity, and we had some banter, and it was quite fun. And like the banter, we would argue, like I got to tease him. Yeah. So I really liked that. And then of course with seeing Tom, we really get along very well. And so we haven't seen each other for a decade, but I felt that it was just so easy to work with him. So yeah, it was wonderful.
Du coup, de reprendre le rôle dans le crossover, elle n'a pas hésité une seconde et elle était trop contente de pouvoir le faire. Elle dit, Tom, je pense qu'il a hésité, genre je le fais pas, je le fais pas. Elle dit ouais, non, on était super contents de reprendre le rôle, et en fait, ils ont réussi à ne pas trop modifier les personnages, ils ont réussi à garder leur identité et ce qu'ils étaient, donc c'était assez facile de pouvoir le reprendre. Quant à Tom, bah, ils s'entendent super bien, donc ils étaient vraiment contents de se retrouver. Ils ont pu retrouver un peu la connexion aussi, où bah, ils vont se taquiner, ils vont se charrier, en plus ils avaient très très peu de temps ensemble, mais ils ont réussi sur ce peu de temps à retrouver ce qu'ils avaient, de ce qu'ils avaient avant.
You're welcome.
Nice to meet you, Erika. I have a question. Which character was your favorite?
Which character in the show is my favorite? Mine. It's hard when you ask that question because I have a hard time separating the people I know from the character.
Yeah, of course, I understand.
But I would say, gosh, what I really liked to see was the transition of my friends, who they are, and then them become their character. So I'll use Kristen as an example. She plays the femme fatale very well, the person that needs to be saved. But she moves through the world with a huge amount of energy and strength. And the first time I met her, I heard her. And I heard this person walking behind me, and it was like bang, 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 with so much confidence. And that's how she is in the world. And then she would imbue Lana, and all of a sudden her voice and everything would just become this person. And so that was my favorite thing. She played Lana, yeah.
Alors, la question c'était quel est ton personnage préféré dans la série? Le mien, mais sinon en approfondissant, ce qui est difficile, c'est qu'elle a du mal à séparer ses amis des personnages. Donc c'est difficile, mais ce qu'elle aime, c'est voir, être témoin de leur transformation entre ce qu'ils sont.
Bonjour. J'aimerais savoir si vous avez envisagé de participer un jour à une série d'ici.
Et DC Comics?
Ouais, voilà.
Have you ever considered or wanted to play a character in a TV show from the DC Comics? Une qui est actuellement en cours ou en général?
You know, I hadn't thought of it. I was so lucky to get to do Lois that I felt that that was kind of my moment. The only other experience that I had, of course, was playing on Supergirl and playing Laura Zora, which was fantastic.
En fait, elle n'a pas vraiment pensé à ça parce que déjà, elle se trouve hyper chanceuse d'avoir pu interpréter Lois. Et après, elle a enchaîné avec son personnage dans Supergirl, qui était fantastique. Donc, du coup, elle est déjà dans un univers, donc elle n'a pas forcément vu au-delà.
Merci beaucoup.
Hello Erika. Ma question, donc tout à l'heure on a évoqué le crossover et je voulais justement savoir ton opinion sur le fait que Clark abandonne ses pouvoirs pour sa famille alors qu'on a passé 11 saisons à faire en sorte qu'il embrasse ses pouvoirs afin de devenir le super-héros et notamment Lois l'a aidé à devenir ce super-héros et donc je voulais avoir ton avis là-dessus.
Since we talked about the crossover earlier, she wants to know your opinion about the fact that Clark gives up his powers for his family when it's been 11 seasons that we are doing everything for him to embrace his powers and that Lois helped him to embrace it and so he could become the huge superhero he was supposed to be, and he gives up his power?
That's a really good question, and probably very frustrating for a lot of people. I think what I would say to that is they're probably trying to speak to the change that comes over a human being when they have children, and what they'll do maybe for themselves, but what they will sacrifice for the health and well-being of their children. And so they may change and let go of that if they're worried that, you know, obviously he's worried that it's going to bring something harmful to his kids. And so I think they kind of went down that path, but I would say never say never, right? Like it might just be when they're young and not you know, in harm's way, and then they can go away and then he could go off and do his thing. So it's like what many of us do, except we don't have superpowers. You have a kid, and then you make your whole world changes, you make different choices, and then, you know, when they're older, you go back to being a superhero. We all hope we can, anyway. Try.
Elle dit, à mon avis, elle dit pour moi, les scénaristes en fait, ils sont partis dans cette direction-là pour montrer, pour exprimer les changements qui arrivent dans la vie, notamment quand on a des enfants. C'est-à-dire qu'on a tous un certain style de vie, un mode de vie jusqu'à ce qu'ils arrivent, les enfants arrivent, et il y a des trucs qu'on est obligé d'accepter, d'abandonner. Elle dit en tout cas, pendant qu'ils sont petits, on va pas dire, on peut jamais dire jamais. Donc ça se trouve, il a abandonné parce qu'il peut avoir peur que d'avoir ses pouvoirs provoque quelque chose de négatif pour ses enfants. Mais ça se trouve, une fois que les enfants sont grands, il peut revenir à ce qu'il est. Pareil, on rêve tous à un moment d'être un super-héros, un Superman ou un Supergirl. Bon, t'as des enfants, non, tu t'occupes de tes enfants, tu fais en sorte qu'ils soient bien et qu'il leur arrive rien. Et après, une fois qu'ils sont grands, tu peux redevenir le super-héros ou la super-girl que tu avais envie d'être.
Thanks to be here. So I want to say I loved your character in Smallville. I got a question. My favorite scene was when you try a magical lipstick and after Tom or Clark fall in love with you. Do you remember it?
Crimson?
Yes.
How could one forget? The writers did such a wonderful job of keeping the audience and interested. You know, so people would want to see that, and they had to try to figure out how can you kind of get them together for a little while, and then that would create all sorts of awkward moments later where she wouldn't remember, and he'd have to play the gentleman about it. And so I think that, you know, that's part of the fun of being on something that has that, they have that versatility in their writing to be able to give you that moment. I was still fairly fresh on the show, so I was waiting for that kind of thing to happen. At what point, when am I going to start, you know, kind of being obsessed with Clark? And so that was my turn.
Thank you so much.
Je voulais demander comment elle s'est retrouvée à avoir le rôle, dans quel état, quelle humeur elle était à le passer et jusqu'au moment où elle a su qu'elle avait le rôle.
Donc tu veux le process du casting?
Ouais.
What was your casting process, and how long did you wait before getting the good answer, and how did you feel about it?
It was very fast. I was called to audition for what would have been 4 episodes on the show, and I was in Vancouver, and I told my manager no, because they never cast Canadians for anything important. And he said, do it anyway. So I went in and I did that. And let me know if I need to stop. Oh, yeah. And then I got a call that it was about 1 week later. I got a call I was going to go down to Los Angeles and test for it. And so that process was 48 hours. And I didn't know if we finished on the Friday, and I got on the plane. And then I got off the plane and I realized they told me I had the part, and I shot on Monday. So it was very fast. And that's how I feel I did the rest of the show. It was just Erica going, okay, I hope everybody's okay with this. So yeah, it was very, very fast.
En fait, elle appelle de son...
You would have liked to play more with.
Is there an actor in the show that you would have liked to play more? Actor.
One of the actresses I loved working with, but we didn't work very much together, was Cassidy Freeman. So she played Michael Rosenbaum. She played the new Lex Luthor, and we got along very, very well. And then ironically, Kristen and I were never really allowed to be in a lot of scenes together, but we're very good friends now. So we always laugh about the fact that we didn't really get to know each other till after the show, but we kind of, those were 2 girls that I would have loved to have worked with a lot more, but women didn't really share scenes. We were really kind of juxtaposed to what was happening with Clark, which makes sense because it was Smallville.
Elle aurait beaucoup aimé travailler plus avec Cassidy Freeman, qui joue, elle joue Tess Mercer, en gros le nouveau Lex Luthor. Elle aurait beaucoup aimé avoir plus de scènes avec elle, parce qu'elle s'entend super bien. Et ironiquement, avec Christine, en fait, elles n'ont pas beaucoup de scènes logiques, puisque sur l'univers, il fallait qu'il y ait les arcs différents avec Clark. Mais Christine, elles sont devenues surtout vraiment amies après la série. Mais pendant, elles ont pas eu beaucoup de moments vraiment ensemble. Donc ça, c'est vraiment les 2 avec lesquels elle aurait aimé jouer plus.
Je voulais vous demander quel épisode avec Tom vous a le plus marqué, et si vous comptez revenir pour une saison 11.
Which episode with Tom impacted you the most? And if there were season 11, would you like to come back?
Yes to season 11. I think if they had really great storyline, I think it would be a lot of fun, especially now, some kind of return after a lot of years. The seasons that impacted me as Erica with Tom would be kind of at the beginning, because of the way he interacted with me, and he helped me to feel more relaxed, and he was very, very, very kind. But as far as character-wise, I would still say it started in season 8, and it had anything to do with where we were really bantering and kind of fighting about stuff. And not that I want to fight, but I want to have scenes that have some meat to them, you know. So I know that people wanted to see her kind of in love and swooning and that sort of thing, and that's fun. But I liked when I would tease him a lot more. We had way more fun.
First of all, for him, you're the one who incarnated Lois Lane the most beautifully, the better way than
That's
all
why
the
I
other.
said you could talk.
Elle dit c'est pour ça qu'elle a demandé à ce que tu puisses prendre la parole. Et ouais, du coup ça m'a perturbé.
Butterfly effect.
Ouais, ouais. Et, and also the way you played in a butterfly effect. But how is it to get to another role when you had one character that is so like glued to you?
Okay, so well, first of all, I don't try to get away from that character. I'm grateful for it. It's part of why I get other jobs. I don't take myself so seriously when it comes to career strategy or any of those kinds of things. I think that you're meant to find the jobs that you have, and you find the stories you want to tell, and you do your best with it. And you, at the end of the day, I hope it goes well. But it isn't the only thing in your life. And yeah, it's fun to embrace something new. I did my other series after called Saving Hope, which I loved, and it was completely different. And so as any human, as you grow and evolve and change, you're going to be interested in different kinds of stories. And that's just kind of how I look at it. And if I'm lucky enough to keep going along, then I want to find another story that is something hopefully someone will connect with and feel less alone and somehow see the humanity in that.